Hello, hello. This is Paul here, also known as Power Puncher in the YouTube world, and I have a very special video today. I am going to be exploring my Minecraft world from 2011. I was clearing out some boxes in my loft, and I found a USB stick that had all of my old university coursework from 2011, but also a copy of my Minecraft Let's Play, which I thought that I had lost to time. All the old file storage websites that I used to store this on no longer exist, but there I had a file, and I think it's from like episode 180 of my original Minecraft Let's Play that I did back in 2011, 2012. I went through all the process of converting it to the latest version, which was quite tedious, but we are going to jump into it today, and I am going to give you a little tour of my old Minecraft world. So I guess the point of this video as well will be going through my YouTube history. For those that aren't aware, I was doing YouTube videos back in 2007, and I want to say I was probably one of the first Minecraft Let's Players, or the first couple hundred at least back in the day. Before that, though, I had a career, I had a Call of Duty YouTube channel, but I'll just walk through here. I mean, this is so nostalgic looking at this. This was my first ever base that I made, and I was probably like 17 years old when I made this. For context, I'm 33 years old today, so it's a bit of a nostalgia trip for me looking at this because I haven't looked at this world in the better part of 13, 14 years maybe. But you can see I'm pretty much at 0, 0 as well. Okay, so I'll just let the music play and I'll go through the world and just do a little bit of talking. Please forgive me if I forget how to commentate because, I haven't been doing YouTube videos consistently for the better part of 7 or 8 years now. For a little bit of context, I did YouTube full time for maybe 2 or 3 years after I graduated university in 2014. But since then, I have been working as a software developer, so I did step away for quite some time. Looking at all of these old chests, food, cobblestone valuables. Redstone's valuable, apparently. This was my original storage room. Just checking if there's anything in here. So yeah, for context, as I said, 2007, 2008 was when I started doing YouTube videos, and I got my Xbox 360 in 2006, late 2006, I believe, or maybe early 2007. It was around that time period anyway, and I picked up GTA 4, and I picked up Call of Duty 4, and it was Call of Duty 4 which got me hooked. I played that game pretty much every day from 4 p.m. after school until 4 a.m. And I think by the time I went to university in 2011, I had over 1.5 years playtime on that game. So, look at this. I think the reason I'm in survival or creative mode, but the reason that I have glass all over this is because there was thunderstorms and they set everything on fire, and so I wanted to protect my base. There's probably better ways of doing that, but there you go. So that was the original base. But yeah, I got completely addicted to Call of Duty 4, and I looked up on YouTube to see if other people were playing, and there was, and this was a very, very small YouTube community back then. Some of the names that I remember were Blame Truth, Hutch, Optic Hutch, as he was later known as. Who else was around back then? Excalizors, the Trout 91, Chris Trout, good guy. Chris, I haven't spoken to him in years, but bit of a legend. And then there's later people like Sea that came along, Syndicate, all of those old school Call of Duty players. And so I bought my first capture card, which was a Dazzle capture card. I don't know if people remember those. I actually remember picking up the wrong one. This was back when I didn't even have an HD TV. I was recording in standard definition, and I picked up the wrong Dazzle. I didn't record the actual proper video output, and so all of my recordings were black and white. So I finally returned it. and I managed to get the correct one, and I started posting Call of Duty 4 videos. I was pretty good at the game. This was before Call of Duty introduced skill-based matchmaking, so I could go into lobbies and kill 30 people and die once, and I was pretty good. Not gonna, not gonna, not gonna play it down. I had like a kill death ratio of like 7 or 8 or something like that. Um, so I posted videos and, uh, I sort of added a lot of the other YouTubers back then, and we played and stuff, and I managed to build up a small YouTube channel of a couple thousand subscribers back then, and that was quite a lot of people. Um, and then Machinima came around. Machinima. So this was back before you could actually monetize gaming videos on YouTube. So 2008, 2009. You couldn't actually. Oh my goodness! Hold on, guys. I need to take this in. I've not seen this in the better part of like 12 years, 13 years. This was the old temples that I built in my Minecraft world, which is kind of crazy looking at. We got the dojo and the castle. I'll talk about these in a second, but I just want to talk a little bit more. So, um, you couldn't monetize gaming content back in 2008, 2009. You needed to post on a YouTube channel, which did, and that was Machinima. And so I seen that there was one or two Call of Duty YouTubers. I think it was Blame Truth. That was posting on there, and I think there's a little base over here, if I remember correctly. Hold on, I want to look for this. There might be a mob spawner. My memory is very, very jagged, as you can tell. Um, there's a. Is that a? I'm gonna speed over here. Is that a tree that I see, or sorry, a ladder? Okay, some of the some of the chunks obviously have not loaded in correctly over the years. Look at this, a floating ladder, and can you even climb it? You can't even climb it. Crazy. Yeah, so some of the chunks obviously have not loaded in correctly. I tried to import this world the best that I could, but um, so yeah, I saw people posting on Machinima, and to be honest, like I was a stupid, naive teenager back then. I was maybe 15, 16. So I emailed Machinima directly and said, I have a YouTube channel. I would like to be part of your partnership program. And they said yes. They said yes. Like I couldn't believe that I actually had the courage to do this, but I guess you were just naive back then. And if you don't ask, you don't get, right? So I managed to get some videos on Machinima, posting Call of Duty 4, and it was this weird Irish kid with the accent, because you have to realize back in 2007, or sorry, 2008, most YouTubers were American, so I was one of the very few non-American YouTubers that was doing gaming content, and I have a pretty weird accent. It isn't the traditional Irish accent, because I live up north in the island, but I had a little bit of an American twang with it as well, because I played with a lot of Americans on Xbox Live back then, so it was pretty weird. Um, so a lot of people in Machinima was like, "Oh, this guy's accent is so weird, man." But I managed to get a lot more subscribers, and I think I had like 10,000, 20,000 by the end of 2009, which was a lot of people back then. 20,000 people on a YouTube channel is nothing nowadays, but you have to imagine like the biggest channels only had like 50,000 to 100,000 back then. So that was my Call of Duty era. Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty World at War. I remember actually being at the midnight launch of Call of Duty World at War. It's kind of sad reflecting upon this now, because as you all know, Sony has announced this week that I think 2028 January they'll be stopping producing physical games, which is a huge shame. I have so many good memories going to midnight launches of games and stuff like that. Call of Duty World at War was one of them, and Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 is obviously considered one of the best Call of Duty games. I managed to get that game 2 weeks early. Some guy in Belfast actually managed to like rob a truck and get a box of the games off of it. So I paid like £110 or something, £120, like double the price to get the game early. And that's kind of when the Call of Duty scene went huge on YouTube. Modern Warfare 2, and I continued with that and had a lot of videos on Machinima and Machinima Respawn. I think this is my mob grinder I was talking about. Let me go down. Oh, let me down. Oh no, it isn't. Okay, maybe it is. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is my mushroom farm. So mushrooms only grow in certain light levels. I remember this. It's so strange looking at these rooms that I've built, because they trigger like a very specific moment in time that I can sort of vividly remember, and it's this is the weird part about getting older, like the actual recollection of time changes so much. Even though I built this, let's say, what, 15 years ago now, it just seems like yesterday to me, and that's the scary part. I actually remember building this room, and so much has changed. It's so little, uh, so little has as well. But that was sort of like the Modern Warfare 2 era, and thinking back to that era of YouTube, it was so fun. There was very little money in it. Maybe I got a couple $100 off Machinima each month, but having your videos viewed by 10,000, 20,000 people and getting subscribers and constantly growing your channel, it was amazing. Um, and there was a lot of cool people back then. I think one of the things that I really miss about the old YouTube community was it was very tight knit. There was only a couple hundred creators, maybe 1,000, and everybody knew everyone else. You played games with each other. We talked to each other. We didn't have Discord. We had Skype. Oh, my dogs! No way, no way, guys. You'll remember these dogs. Um, Santos and Little Smoky Weenie. These were the original Let's Play dogs that I had, and they're still here after all this time. Where did they go? Oh, I'll bring two of them with me. Have I got meat? I want to feed them. I feel so bad for them. I've abandoned you for 13 years. Steak. You got some steak there? Yeah, give me a full stack of steak and we'll feed you boys. Oh yeah, first meal after 15 years. Must feel good. You guys can have some as well. Okay, you're happy. There's another one that's crying. I wonder where he is. This is my original... Oh, he is there. Where's the other dog coming from? Feel so bad for it. Okay. Have I got my headphones on the right way? This was the OG base. I remember this well. And then we go down here and it brings you to, I think, S. What does S mean? I don't even know where I'm going at this point. Oh, there it is there. Little mini dog. Hello, dog. No, don't go in there. Okay. So yeah, the YouTube community back then was so tight-knit, and that was the best part, gotta give a shout out to all the guys, I said Trout, Sam 5000, Syndicate, Tom Syndicate. I mean, Syndicate's doing amazing still on YouTube. He's always been a bit of a superstar, so I haven't spoken to Tom in years, but he was always a super nice guy to me. The original Sideman, I mean, I was quite friendly with like Zerka and Vicstar back in the day. I mean, those guys have done amazing. I remember speaking to Zerka maybe like 2009, 2010, and I think he was sort of like, our YouTube channels weren't doing great because we were like the original Call of Duty YouTubers. And I remember Zerka saying to me, like, we have such a good opportunity here, even if the YouTube channels aren't doing well. I mean, fair play to the guy. He obviously took that opportunity and then grew into the Sideman, and now he's, doing super well for himself financially and also in his career. So I have huge respect for that. I actually remember back in the early Minecraft days, Vicstar was constantly messaging me on Skype to play Hunger Games, and I was too busy to do it. And I kind of just look back on that, and I'm like, oh, Vicstar did so well for himself, and if I just had a good sort of collaboration schedule with him, maybe that could have rubbed off on me a bit. But those guys were grinders back in the day. They were just on YouTube nonstop. Okay, Minecraft. So that's the Call of Duty era. I kind of stopped posting Call of Duty videos around 2010. I think this is the. Let's see if this still works. So this was the Piston Mushroom Farm. And I go down here, and there should be lots of mushrooms. Okay, I guess it didn't work, did it? Yeah, it didn't work. Like something must have broke it. So I first found Minecraft. I watched David X's Let's Play. If you guys remember David X, he was like the original Minecraft Let's Player, and Co-star, my good friend Co's World, Co's Quest. I watched that back in the day, and I just got addicted. I bought Minecraft and it was in alpha, and I'm gonna leave the dogs here because I think they're getting too noisy. Come over here, guys. Hello, you sit there. Oh, this castle. I built this castle and I actually loaded in like custom texture packs, and I had a photo of my friend Bubba, and it was in this castle. Is this like a secret entrance? It is, okay. I mean, look, this is like such a primitive building now, looking back at it as well, but I used to think this was amazing back in the day. So I bought Minecraft after watching those videos, and I remember I was on JustinTV back in the day watching streams of people play Minecraft. This was before Twitch was even a thing, you know. JustinTV, and I was just addicted to this game. Like I just couldn't go to bed. It was kind of like, yeah, it wasn't addiction, you know. I just played it nonstop, and eventually, I started making like one or two videos on it on YouTube, and I just was at the right place at the right time. You know, I don't think I was like a special YouTuber. I had any sort of God given talent. I could talk. I guess the prior years of doing all the Call of Duty stuff, you know, let me talk in front of a microphone. But I just started posting a lot of Minecraft videos, and the game was taking off in 2010. So I kind of just rode that hype train, and it gave my channel a second wind, you know, because the Call of Duty era was kind of dying out on YouTube. It was kind of going towards more competitive play and MLG and game battles and stuff, and that was never really my scene. So the Minecraft stuff definitely gave me a bit of a second wind and blew my channel up. Um, you know, I remember getting 100,000 subscribers after doing my Minecraft Let's Plays, and you know that was amazing. I also think that I did a lot of modded Minecraft content. So this is when mods first started coming out for Minecraft. This is my dojo. You guys don't remember this in the original Let's Play, the dojo. Um, you know, the inspiration behind the dojo here was I actually watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time around this time, and the temples here were sort of after the themes of Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then the dojo was also kind of themed off that. Um, but yeah, so I did a lot of Minecraft mod videos, and that some of my most viewed videos on my YouTube channel to today are Minecraft mod videos. Now I'm gonna go down here because I remember. Let me just go back. Let me go down here. I actually look at this. As I type this, it's 6:16 a.m. and I haven't slept. I am hungry. If you're reading this, I made this on June 19th, 2011. Wow. So you guys remember, so I hadn't gone to university at this point. I had just finished secondary school, sixth form. There was like 3 or 4 months that summer where I had nothing to do, and I just no lifed Minecraft. And I stayed up until like 5 or 6 a.m. every day playing Minecraft. So my sleep schedule, if you were one of the watchers back in the day, you'll remember my sleep schedule was really bad. I'm pleased to say that the old rat race has put me in my place. So I usually get up every day at 8 a.m. and go to bed at like midnight, which, I have friends that get up at 5 or 6 a.m. That is not me. I love my beauty sleep. But this was my old branch mining facility back in the day, which is kind of cool to see. I think this must be at like 35. Okay. Level 5, I guess, is where the diamonds were back in the day. So yeah, all those modded Minecraft videos really shot my channel up. I did a series with my friend Bert, who I'm still good friends with to today, Robert. I remember doing a series with Eric the Aviator. I don't know if Eric was like a Call of Duty commentator that I was good friends with, and then he started doing Minecraft videos, and we did a series together. I haven't spoke to Eric in like 10 years, but he's a great guy. I think I still have him on Facebook, and I see him post every so often. Eric the Aviator was his name because he flies planes. He was a cool guy. And then I went to university in October 2011, and you know, man, 2011 was a big year for me because this is my cactus farm. My YouTube channel was taking off, and I had to make a decision whether to go to university and study, because I did a computer science degree. And you know, one of the things that I'm really proud of in this YouTube channel is I kind of talked about my university experience and my degree and studying. And I've had so many people over the years message me saying, "Oh, I went to study computer science or software engineering because of you," which is amazing. You know, a lot of people are in a very good career now just because of some stuff I said in a YouTube video 15 years ago. I mean, you guys did it. I didn't do it. But you know, all it takes is one small sort of domino in someone's life to turn it around. Sometimes I think, you know, because the whole reason I get into programming was because when I was like 13 or 14, my IT teacher saw that I was pretty good with computers. Look at this chunk hasn't loaded in, and he started teaching me JavaScript, PHP, HTML, CSS when I was like 14, 15. He gave me special exercises to do. And then that's how I started programming and making websites and stuff. And without him, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's just one small effect can really have a big impact on people's lives, and you don't really know how things are going to go. One small action can really make a difference. You don't know what that action will be, so you just gotta keep trying and doing virtuous things, being nice to other people in this crazy world. I think that's more important than ever. That's something I'm gonna touch on later in this video. I mean, we're already 20 minutes in, which is crazy to me. But there you go. Okay, sorry, I had to take a quick break there. It shows how long that I've been out of the game that OBS has a pause feature. They never had that back in my day. Old man yells at cloud. Okay, where was I? I was talking about my IT teacher at secondary school. Yeah, I'm happy for everyone that went to university on my late night ramblings, and hope you guys are all doing well. I think the cool part about this YouTube channel. Okay, this song is not doing it for me. I'm sorry. We'll just turn that off. We need the original soundtrack. I think one of the coolest parts about this YouTube channel. I mean, I've had this channel for the better part of what. Let's do some math in your head, Paul. 18, 19 years now. There's so many people that have grown up alongside me. And I'm sure there's going to be a few people watching this video that are in their 30s or 40s or whatever, that have a family and kids and stuff now, and we're watching these videos back in the day. And I think that's the coolest part, of even though I don't know a lot of you personally, there's people that names that I remember in the comments that watch my videos throughout the years. And I think as you get older as well, this is something I'm noticing at 33, you kind of drift apart quite a lot from people. And I think maintaining connections, even if that's very loose connections, is really important to having a healthy social life and a healthy mind, because I mean, we are social creatures as humans. And I definitely think that's important. So I want to thank everybody who is watching this video, who also watched my videos back in the day. Okay, so I talked about going to university. So I had a big decision to make in 2011, and that was, do I drop out of university to do YouTube full time, or do I go to university and get my computer science degree? Because I had studied really hard for my exams and I had got good grades, and I managed to get into the 4th or 5th ranked university in the UK. So not Oxford or Cambridge, but pretty much in the tier below that. So it was a really good university that I managed to get into, and I decided I'm just gonna go to university and see if I can do the YouTube thing. And this was a big risk, because it was a gamble ultimately. I kind of have always been a conservative person by nature. I'll always take the less risky route, and I'll always have a backup plan. And there was people that I knew at the time that were dropping out of university to do YouTube full time. One of my friends back in the day, Jericho. I don't know if you guys remember Jericho. He was Tucker Jericho. Tucker's his real name. I think he dropped out of university to do YouTube full time, and that's worked out really well for him. I think he has his own music label now, but he was one of the OG Call of Duty YouTubers. But yeah, there's plenty of people that I knew that dropped out of university to do this full time, and it's a risk for some of them. It worked really well. I think another guy that I knew from back in the day was Green. He's on Hermitcraft now, and his channel blew up. But I remember speaking to Green at Insomnia UK Gaming Festival in like 2015 maybe, and he had just started his YouTube channel full time, and he wasn't sure what the future held for him. And now look at him. I mean, he's one of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers. So again, you just got to give credit where it's due. I mean, these people doubled down on themselves and took a risk, and there's just something in life, there's no guarantee. And I think even now, it's I'll be totally honest, it's the hardest it's ever been to sort of break through on YouTube, because there's so many people out there. That was the temples. So that was kind of Earth Temple. Earth Temple was that, or Nature Temple, or Earth Temple, and that was a Fire Temple. very primitive designs looking at these now. But yeah, I think it's harder than ever to sort of break through. I'm just checking, there's nothing over here. Look at that. There's several parts of this Let's Play, so this isn't just it. There's a nether world and stuff like that, I remember. But, you know, it's harder than ever to break through. But even back in 2015, or 2011 when I was about, it was still really hard. And there was a lot of people that didn't make it. You know, there's a lot of people. I always have said to people, being a YouTuber, for I would say like 90% of YouTubers, it's a bit like being a winner of like Pop Idol or like Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent or whatever. You're in the limelight for a few years, and then your popularity fades, and that's what happened to me. I actually had two experiences of this because I had the Call of Duty years where I was pretty popular, and then I had Minecraft from like 2011 to 2016, and then the interest slowly fades out because it's really hard to, you know, keep someone's attention over decades. So I have respect for people that do that, but even then, it's likely I think this was like a mob trap or something that I had made. Even then though, it's probably new fans coming along, you know, and replacing the old ones rather than having the same fan base over time. So I think there's some stuff I did out here. So yeah, look at these trees. These are not new trees, are they? They're probably spawned in. Yeah, probably. So where was I? I mean, I went to university and I decided I was going to do my degree. And you know, I look back and probably would I have played it differently? That's the thing. So the one thing that I regret is I was probably one of the first 100 partners on Twitch TV. I had a good friend, John S&D's, his old sort of Call of Duty tag, and a lot of the old school Call of Duty YouTubers around the Seattle area, worked for JustinTV and Twitch. You know, Justin Wong, S&D's. I played Call of Duty with these guys, and I was quite loosely friendly with them. And I remember John saying to me, you know, we have not got a Minecraft Twitch streamer. You know, we have a lot of Call of Duty and, you know, World of Warcraft and League of Legends, but we don't have a big Minecraft name. And we want, you know, I think you would be a good fit to be, you know, a good streamer. But it was just bad timing, man, because I moved into a university door or a university house with 5 other people, and we had a really poor internet connection shared between us. We had like 1 megabyte upload, and I remember the times that I did stream, I had to beg the 4 other guys, my friends, to stop playing games because it just took down the connection. So I couldn't really get into the streaming world, and I came into that world late. And you know, I thought that was just a great opportunity for me back then, but it was just the way fate rolled out. You know, unfortunately, it wasn't in my favor there. So the Twitch thing is something I definitely have regrets over because I could have got in there early, you know, and I had the opportunity. And in life, opportunities come, and sometimes you just don't take them. So yeah, I went to university, and I think in the second year I was really tempted to drop out. To be honest, my YouTube channel was still doing really well. I wasn't earning mega money from it, you know, probably getting like 5 million views a month. That was pulling me in like maybe $3,000, $4,000, which might not seem like a lot of money. This is before like proper ad deals came about. Sponsorships, things like that didn't exist back then. Look at this really, really weird house. I remember building this. Don't even know what it is. This was back when there was no sort of fancy sponsorships or anything like that. And I decided though I'm just gonna get my degree as a backup because I put so much work into it. You know, it was a good university. It was a computer science degree, which were valuable back then. Computer science degrees still are valuable, guys. Don't buy the AI hype. AI is a tool, but it's nowhere near the tool that they're making it out to be. It's not a $1 trillion industry. It's maybe like a $50 billion industry. That's just my opinion. You know, I've worked with all the latest models in AI. I'm using Opus 4.8 every day at work. It's helpful, but as someone who's programmed professionally for the better part of 12 years now, I don't think these are replacements for programmers. It's just unfortunate, you know, that the people that make the decisions at the top currently think that. And in a couple of years, I do think we're going to be in for a bit of a talent shortage because a lot of the graduates and juniors, unfortunately, aren't getting jobs right now due to it. But that's a topic for another video. So yeah, when I was at university, still doing the YouTube videos. BOO, really great guy, reached out to me and invited me onto an SMP server, and I did videos on that for 5, 6, 7 years as well. Met a lot of great people on there. You know, Pause and Pause, Vintage Beef, Seth Bling, Ethos Lab. You know, a lot of these guys are still doing YouTube videos in the scene today. A lot of great memories there. And I went to Minecon as well several times. 2013 Orlando Minecon, great memories there. Paris 2012. My housemate Dan, who spoke French fluently, came with me. That was amazing. He was actually a Minecon staff member, and we went there, and we did panels and stuff, and met loads of fans. It was really great memories. London 2015. Again, London wasn't really too far from my doorstep, so that was great. I remember playing ping pong with Captain Sparkles. He's another old school Call of Duty guy that really blew up with Minecraft. I met Notch and Jeb at Paris 2012. I remember going to the VIP party in Paris 2012, and we snuck into the VIP area. Myself, my mate Nate, JL, Doc M's friend. I gotta give a shout out to Doc as well. Doc's a great guy who's still doing big things with Hermitcraft. So Doc, if you're somehow watching this, miss you, man. We had some really good times together over the years at conventions and playing online and stuff. And then yeah, met Notch. Had sat down and had a glass of champagne with Notch when I was like a 19-year-old kid. Like, how many people can say that? There's so many good memories that YouTube has brought me, and it's just one of those things that I definitely will always remember in my life, because it gave me so many good life experiences. And even though it, in the end, I kind of fell away from it and went a different direction with my career, I'm very, very proud of all the videos that I did and all the people that I met and experiences that I had. So, I mean, that sort of up until university, I would say, is where I remember the most. But then 2014, I graduated and I decided to just do YouTube full time for 2 years. I was still doing the SMP videos. I had one or two Let's Play videos going on. But I started branching away from Minecraft, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my mistakes here as a YouTuber, because I made so many dumb decisions that I sort of facepalm thinking about now. Essentially, I decided to start doing Let's Plays on my main channel. By Let's Plays, I mean like variety game Let's Plays, so Zelda, Pokemon, Mario, Skyrim, things like that, on top of the Minecraft videos. And the biggest mistake that I made there was not separating those channels up, because the people that had subscribed to me to watch Minecraft only wanted Minecraft. They didn't want Pokemon, they didn't want Mario, they didn't want Skyrim. They wanted Minecraft. And that's something that Vicstar, that I mentioned earlier, did really well. He had like 3 or 4 separate channels, and he ran those with separate audiences, and I think that was a really good decision. Look at this portal. Must have bugged out. Does this work? What does that do? So the idea here was the minecart was going to power me and I would go straight into the nether. But I don't know how that worked out in the end. Yeah. Strange. Let me just have a little bit of a look around here to see if there's anything else that I missed. Probably took me about 100 episodes. This is the thing. Back in the day, the old school Let's Play videos, you built everything. I think this was something I built as well, wasn't it? Or maybe not. The old school Let's Play, you did everything on the screen. It was just talking over gameplay. There was no like, oh, I'll see you guys in 50 hours time when I've built this mega contraption. It was just personality driven. And that's something I really miss, because to be honest, guys, like this is like old man yells at cloud totally, but I just feel the internet in general has just went completely downhill in the past 10 years. Like I very rarely, I still use the internet, but I very rarely spend time on like social media sites or YouTube or anything like that. And thinking back to like when I grew up in this is totally old man yells at cloud, but thinking back in the mid 2000s, late 2000s, there was just so much more of a sense of a close-knit community, and I don't think... What the hell? Why am I instantly being teleported here? Weird. Okay, whatever. This is my first nether base as well. I remember this very well. Let's explore. I don't know where this goes, so I'll just walk, I guess. Look at that loading in. I got a minecart. I'll just walk because I want to talk as well. I want to talk as well. So what was I talking about? Yeah, just the internet, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. I wanted to talk about my mistakes on YouTube. So yeah, I started posting let's plays, and I had a few let's plays that did really well. You know, I did a let's play of Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, Majora's Mask, 3DS. They're probably some of my most viewed videos back in the day. You know, because back then you had to. Well, you probably have to do it more so nowadays, but you had to game the algorithm and the search engine optimization terms a little bit. So I spammed quite a lot of videos. You know, I was posting like 4 or 5 videos a day, and I think my audience kind of just got bored of that. Like nobody has the time to watch 5 videos a day. And in hindsight, I probably would have spun up a new channel for Let's Plays, a new channel for Pokemon, a new channel for Minecraft, and just kept those going independently. Unfortunately, what I did was I burnt my audience out, and that kind of showed over the years as my views started to go down. You know, I went from like 5 million views a month in 2012, 2013, and then 2015, 2016, when I was doing it full time, I was probably down to like 1 or 2 million a month, which again was still paying me like $2,000 a month, 3,000 maybe on a good month. Not mega money, but I was earning, you know, more than I would at a minimum wage job. But around 2016, man, like I was probably earning like maybe 25,000 to £30,000 a year, and I could get more working in a graduate job in software. So I had my own little side business at that time, making websites part time. So I was doing YouTube, which was bringing me in maybe like 25, 30 grand. And then I was bringing in maybe 5 or 10 grand from my part time web business, just making sites on the side for people. Um, but yeah, ooh, where the hell am I? I have no idea where I am. Weird. Okay. There was definitely another part of my Let's Play world that I want to get to because I definitely remember it being in this world. But I don't know where this is. I have no idea where this is. But yeah, around 2016, I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go work for someone else because working for yourself, being self-employed in the UK, you don't get any pension. You have to contribute to that yourself. You don't get any sick days or paid time off. And I was just working quite a lot, 50, 60 hours a week, and my YouTube channel just wasn't growing. And sometimes, guys, you just gotta face the facts that things aren't gonna work out. And I probably could have grinded for a couple years and maybe got something out of it. But the thought in the back of my mind was, I don't want to be like a 40-year-old man making gaming videos for a living. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you know, not that there's people that do that totally, but it's just like I could not see myself doing this for the next, 15 years because it was already grinding me down. It's funny now looking back at that because I would love to be in that position now. You know, I have built up a nice little financial nest egg. You know, I have a mortgage now that's going to be paid off in the next 5 years, and I'm sort of thinking at the back of my mind, maybe if I get my mortgage paid off, I can go back to making gaming videos on YouTube as a 40-year-old man. So, it's kind of funny thinking about that now. Man, like the corporate world, it's the rat race for a reason, you know. I have some really good colleagues and some really good friends at work, and they make it nice to work with, but ultimately, it's if you ask me tomorrow and I had the money, I would retire. Unfortunately, I don't, and I think is it up here I went maybe. I have no idea where I am, by the way. I'm sure you guys can tell that already. I go up here. Where the hell am I? Why is there gravel here? This is bedrock. Okay, I definitely didn't go down here. So yeah, I talked about and around 2016. I mean, I was naive. I thought like you could just be super passionate about doing YouTube videos and gaming. And this is, around 2014, 2015, 2016 is when the YouTube industry started turning. It started becoming big. There was a lot of money to be made, and I think people recognized that pretty quickly. And in came the clickbait thumbnails, in came, really gaming the algorithm and spamming descriptions and doing like really, really clickbait type video content. And that just wasn't me. I was never that type of YouTuber, and I really struggled to adapt to that world. And I think because of it, my YouTube channel just slowly went downhill. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Hello, Pigman. I'm gonna look around here. Did I ever build anything out here? I don't think I did. Interesting. Okay, sorry about that. I have to take a quick drink. The old throat is not used to speaking for 40 minutes straight. I don't know how I did this for several hours back in the day, or did Twitch streams and stuff. But yeah, the old I just wasn't ready for that type of world on YouTube, and unfortunately, I sort of fell behind. And you know, in 2016, I sort of quit doing YouTube full time. And we're still making videos on the side, but I went and worked and built my career as a software developer, and that's what I've been doing since. Um, which has been going really well for me. I'm earning good money, as I said. I'm living by myself. I have my own house. I have a pretty decent pension and investments and stuff built up. And my plan ultimately is in the next couple of years to get to a point where I can move away from the tech world. Not that I'm going to retire or anything, but I'd have enough to be able to move away and take a more chill job in an industry that I'm genuinely passionate about. And I get a lot of people don't have that opportunity, so I'm very thankful for that. And again, that's not to say like, where am I? Oh yeah, this is it here. Cool. So this is like the second area of the Let's Play. Probably like episode 120 onwards. Wow. This is like the new area of the Let's Play. It's like One Piece post time skip. Okay, sorry, had to take another break. The Amazon guy was at the door delivering my 20 kilograms of cat litter, so as you can probably imagine, it was an emergency that I had to go and help him with. So yeah, what was I talking about? This is like the new era. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I work with some really great people. As far as jobs go, my job is pretty chill. I get paid a good wage, a very good wage, but it's just like, I think as you get older, for me, I'm 33 now. I've had so many members of my family die, especially my dad's side, my grandparents, 4 or 5 of my uncles. Friends that I grew up with have died. You start to really see how fragile life is and how precious it is, and the thought of death. Not that I'm afraid of death. It's just you see how precious time is in life, and you work 9 to 5. Well, more than 9 to 5, really. For me, when I'm working from home, sometimes I'll be on like the 6 or 7, and it's like I just can't imagine me doing this for the rest of my life. I'm very frugal by nature. I'm going to talk a little bit about finances here. Maybe I can do a separate video on this, but this is why um this is why I was talking there about moving away from tech, is because for the past sort of 6 years, I have probably you could call it almost obsessively tracked every penny, every pound that I've spent. I use a program called Actual Budget, a free budgeting software, and I live in Northern Ireland. The cost of living here is relatively cheap compared to the rest of the UK and the Western world. So I'm not like lying when I say on an average month for me to live, it costs me maybe £1,000 to £1,200. So that sounds like not a lot of money. That is actually like half of minimum wage. But my stats don't lie. I have the data to back this up. So I know that I can live relatively frugally. Um, and the way you retire is getting your annual expenses and 25xing that, and that will give you a figure that you need to get a retirement portfolio to draw down on. So for me, that number is like maybe like £350,000 in assets between my pension, my investing accounts, and cash. And that £1,200 includes my mortgage, which is like 500. So I could, once my mortgage is gone, I could probably live on even less. And a lot of people think like, oh, you're depriving yourself, but I had a really formative experience in my life, probably about 5, 6 years ago, and you guys may remember. I talked about it quite a lot. I do meditation. I've been practicing Buddhist meditation for the better part of a decade now, and I go on retreats every year. And about 5 or 6 years ago, down in a Catholic monastery. The Buddhist group took over the Catholic monastery for a week. I was sitting, and it was, everybody else had went to bed. It was probably like 10 or 11 p.m., and I was just sitting by myself in the meditation hall, and I had this experience. I can't even put it into words. It was just the experience that, like, everything is okay, and it was the most content that I have ever felt in my life. It's really hard to, if I could bottle that experience and give it to you all, I would. And at that moment, I sort of realized that I don't really need to buy anything to be happy in life. I think modern society preaches consumerism, like buy the next thing to be happy. And again, I'm not dunking on traveling. I think traveling is amazing. It can really open your eyes. But I think, especially my generation, there's such an obsessive idea around, oh, you have to travel. You have to go. Like, if you want to travel, go to Southeast Asia and travel very cheaply. You don't need to go to these 5-star luxury resorts and buy expensive flights and, you know, spend a lot of money to travel. But I'm just trying to say, like, you don't need to consume, and you don't need to buy more things to be happy. And I think for me, that experience was really validating, because I've spent a lot of money in my life on chasing highs and chasing experiences, and sitting in some old Catholic monastery at 11 p.m. with a blanket around me and staring at a wall was better than all of those. It's strange to actually say that, but it just sticks out at me. So since then, I have just been ultra frugal, and I think there's a really interesting story by Diogenes the Cynic, who the Cynics were kind of like the cousins of the Stoics and the Epicureans. And Diogenes the Cynic was sitting washing lentils by the river, and someone comes up to him and says, Diogenes, if you could just serve the king, you wouldn't have to eat lentils. You could eat the finest food. And Diogenes goes back to him and says, if you could just learn to eat lentils, you wouldn't have to serve the king. And that always sticks with me. That story is saying, like, if you can live very frugally and get your expenses to a minimum and then save up a big nest egg, you don't need to play the game that the rest of society plays. A lot of people think you need to be a multimillionaire to retire, but you do need a pretty big sum of money. Don't get me wrong. Like £350,000 is a lot of money, but it's achievable. Like, if you save every month from 20 to 40 or 45 or whatever, and put that in a global fund, don't take risks with your investments, be conservative. That's achievable, and that's kind of the path that I'm going down. That I probably won't retire from work, but in 5 or 6 years, I'll have enough money where I can take a step back and say, okay, like, what is it that I really want to do with my life? And maybe that's, for me, I'm thinking of maybe retraining into something like physiotherapy. Like, I love gym, I love running, I love sports. So that idea of helping people, even though the wage is probably not that great, the idea of actually giving back to society and making an improvement in people's lives is something that really appeals to me. Whereas right now, again, as much as I said that I'm really, really appreciative of my colleagues and the amount of money that I get paid, it sort of feels like, what I do doesn't actually benefit anyone. But yeah, that was a bit of a tangent. That's just kind of like my approach to life. Okay. And I can talk about that in a further video if I'm going to do another one. But yeah, I guess a lot of people would call that like lean financial independence. But for me, like, I don't feel like it's lean. I just have never been a consumer, And even now, like, I'm selling like a lot of my possessions. Like, I have like a really expensive vinyl record collection. You guys know, if you've been watching my videos, I've been DJing for like a decade, and I still DJ. It's just I don't need all the vinyls. I don't want to collect things. I don't want to hoard things, and I can sell them and make like 5 or 10 grand off that of just stuff collecting dust. All I really need is food, shelter, a couple good books, my guitar, my Retroid Pocket 5 with a bunch of classic Japanese RPGs, and I'll be happy. And obviously social companionship and things like that, and exercise and eating well. But yeah, okay, back to the Let's Play. So this was like the new world that I created. I think this was coming towards the end of the original Let's Play, to be honest. I was kind of running out of ideas here of what to do, and I thought like moving the entire base to here would have been beneficial. This is probably like 2015, 2016 that I was doing this. I do remember this vividly, actually. Yeah. But I was sort of burning out here at this point, guys. A lot of people view YouTube as a dream job, but you're putting so much effort into it, and the views are just going down, and the money's not coming in. you get very jaded easily because for me, like I felt like I was doing some of my best YouTube content around here. My old YouTube videos that I made back in 2011, I literally just hit record and recorded for 20 minutes, and they got loads of views. But unfortunately, I just didn't learn to play the game. I didn't know how to game the algorithm, how to post stuff that people would watch. I thought like passion would trump playing the game, and unfortunately, it doesn't on the YouTube world. So that's just the way it be. And hello, zombie. I think I was sort of burning out here, so that was like 2016. So, what else is about here? So this, I think this was kind of like the home base here, and there's another little area around here. I guess a lot of people probably wondering what I'm up to nowadays as well. So I could probably just use this last part of the video to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm working in tech. The past sort of 3 or 4 years, I've been really hitting the gym hard. So in my late 20s, I'm 33 now. In my sort of mid to late 20s, I was a big runner. I pretty much ran every day, and I did like 3 or 4 marathons. But since I turned 30, I've been really hitting the gym because muscle mass is really important as you get older, and it's around that age, unfortunately, you start to lose muscle mass. So I do full body training 3 times a week. You go to the gym maybe 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 3 times a week. I really enjoy it. I do a mixture of like strength based and bodybuilding style training, and I'm probably like the most jacked I've ever been. Not to toot my own horn, but gym is definitely something that I prioritize my life around. And I find that I still run 5K 3 times a week, maybe a 10K in there. But it isn't speed. I'm just going out zone 2, chilling out, putting a good podcast or audiobook on, and getting outside. But yeah, gym's really important to me because naturally you eat better and you keep your health in check more. And you know, I track calories. I know people find that a bit obsessive, but it keeps me right. And I weigh myself every day. Again, a lot of people find that. But what I always think is what gets measured gets improved. And so if you have the raw data, you cannot argue with the raw data. And so that's ultimately what I do, health and fitness wise. Um, still like doing my meditation. Every day, maybe 30 minutes. If I go through phases where I get really into it. And for me, that's kind of just a naturally grounding thing. I think over the years, the style of meditation that I've done was very concentration based, and I have you enter into some really really tranquil states, some really blissful states with that type of meditation. But unfortunately, that samatha style meditation is conditioned. If there's a lot going on in your life and you're really stressed out, it definitely helps you return to baseline. But it's really hard to get into those equanimous states if there's a lot going on. And so I always say like that type of meditation is a nice retirement plan, or it's a really nice type of meditation to do when you're on an extended retreat where everything is quiet. Nowadays, I kind of shifted more towards awareness, like open awareness, Zen style, um, sort of just listening to how it is right now and seeing things come up. More sort of insight based meditation, I guess. Some people call it vipassana. But for me, it's just awareness training. You're training the mind to be aware of things and seeing things come into consciousness and go. And to me, that's really grounding as well, because no matter what's happening in your life, you can apply that. And, you can, remember these letters back in the day, the mine shaft letters? No matter what's happening, that's always something that you can turn to. And it's here right now. It's not something you need to go and cultivate or spend like 20 hours in a cave meditating to achieve. And a lot of people think it's gonna, like, this is the fundamental thing that people don't get about meditation. Like, you can get into really nice blissful tranquil states, and of course there are times that happens, but really it's just ultimately observing what's here right now and seeing reality as it is and not getting too pulled into it, because at times we are so easily yanked around by the emotional conditioning of the mind that it's really hard to pull out. So just having that sort of awareness and, I guess not to get to too much too much terms, but it's called Chitta Bhavana. It's like the cultivation of consciousness. You're kind of training the mind in a way to just observe and not get yanked in to the conditioning of the world, because you know ultimately we don't control everything, and we who knows what fate has in stores for us. But what we can control is our reaction, and that's kind of like the whole point of the mental training. So that's a big part of my life, always has been. I have a cat, also Juno. I adopted her 4 years ago. It's me and the cat in the house right now. Past sort of 6 months, I have been learning to play guitar. Well, 3 months, I suppose. I picked up a guitar. Never really played a musical instrument before. I've DJ'd and made music in Ableton and stuff, but that's been insanely rewarding having a hobby like that. It's very, very slow progress at times, but the progress is there. And I just have so much respect for people that play musical instruments now, because you realize when you pick up your first guitar how hard it is, and how hard it is to build the dexterity in your fingers and the rhythm and stuff. But yeah, that's been fun. I've been really enjoying that. I'm trying to put 20 minutes in a day at least of practicing. And I like to play a lot of things. I'm a metalhead at heart. Love Metallica, Black Sabbath, Alice in Chains. Um, Love metalcore, Killswitch Engage. I love a bit of post-hardcore. Billy Talent was one of my favorite bands growing up. I like really fast, aggressive music, but I also like post-rock and things like that, and chill music and classic rock and stuff. So I like a bit of everything. But as you know, like, I'm a big drum and bass DJ. I love that type of music, the more chilled side of it. Still do that in Belfast as well every 2 or 3 months. What else has been going on in my life? I mean, not much. I mean, as I said, I live a pretty simple and boring life. And a lot of people, probably think that's not exciting, but to me, like, you can really find run plus jump as far as you can. World episode 120. Oh yeah, it's probably the actually land here. um, and I've been reading a lot actually. It's interesting. A lot of the stuff that I consume nowadays is actually via reading. So books on my Kindle. Love reading history books. I think as you get older as well, the passage of time, your experience of time. I think back to learning about like World War II at school, and it's like, wow, that's so long ago. But then I'm 33 now. I have the experience of living in a body for 33 years. And you sort of realize like that is not that long ago when I was born. And then you just need to go back another 33 years and you're in the 60s. And then you just need to go back another 33 years and you're in the 1930s. And it's kind of like, yeah, that is very, very short in terms of time. So I love reading like history, ancient history, World War history. I've been reading a lot of manga recently as well. I loved anime growing up, but the past couple of years I've just really enjoyed sitting down on my iPad and reading manga. Um, Reading Hajime no Ippo. I've always read that pretty much. Read One Piece. I'm rereading Death Note again. That was like the first anime I ever watched. But I've never read the manga, and it's great going back to that. So yeah, that's kind of like my main form of entertainment nowadays. And yeah, I live a pretty like chill life. Nothing super exciting. I just try to keep my little corner of the world clean, and try to make a positive impact on people. And I really hope I've done that, I suppose, with this YouTube channel over the years. I think I'm coming towards the end of the world now. We're about 50 or 1 hour in. Wow. I'll maybe talk for another minute or two here, but I had never intended to do another YouTube video. I'll be totally honest. I know I had a little bit of a comeback there over the past couple of years doing a couple of videos, but finding this USB stick really really brought back a lot of memories, and I wanted to jump on here and talk over them. Who knows what the future holds? I mean, if this video gets a decent reception, maybe I'll do another one and maybe just play on this world and build it out. I'm not my YouTube videos have always been talking and just doing the bare minimum building. So I mean, I wouldn't be expecting any crazy builds from me, but I always find YouTube a very therapeutic avenue of discussion. Really getting thoughts out of my mind and into the world, and it's been insightful having discussions with people over the years on these things. And there's a lot of old faces in the comments and things like that. So I just want to take this moment to really thank people for watching the videos over the years, and I'll try and check in now and again. If you want to stay in contact or in touch with me, the only really social media platform I use now is Instagram. So my handle on there's Pyropunch, Pyropunch. I don't really post much, maybe the odd story every week or two, but yeah, if you want to get in contact with me, that's the way. And yeah, it's been really nostalgic going down this. I mean, 15 years, man, like where's the time gone? But just goes to show, I mean, life moves pretty fast, eh? Is that as Ferris Bueller said? And you don't stop and look around, you'll miss it. So, really, really tune into your life, even the boring parts, even the tough parts, the despair, even the happy parts, and pay attention to your life is kind of like the message that I wanna give to people here because, it moves really fast and as I've said earlier, life is not promised to people. So yeah, guys, this has been great. This has been really, really fun looking through here and just talking for an hour and hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, I'll catch you whenever. Maybe there'll be another episode, maybe there won't, but it's definitely been a pleasure doing these YouTube videos over the years and I wish everybody all the best and stay safe and really have a great life. So yeah, this is Paul Pyro and I'm signing off. Bye bye.